What's good, y'all? Flan Speaks back for another video. Early lunchtime, man. I can't call it. But this is a good day, and as you can tell, your boy is a bit excited. We got Philadelphia Eagles game 2, week 2. South Philly. First game at the Link this year. Dirty Birds from Atlanta coming in. That little place that I like to refer to as Philadelphia South. Now, I've been to Atlanta, man. I like Atlanta. I was there a few times. Had a great time down there, man. The food was magnificent. Black businesses all over the place. Prosperity. I like Atlanta, man. I like the culture. I like the way it moves. If there was a place I was to retire to in my old age, that might be one of the places I select. You know. But anyway, tonight, man, hopefully it won't be good for y'all. We got a little bit of a bump in the road with A.J. Brown out. A.J. Brown is out. However, these are the type of opportunities I like. I want to see what the offense looks like, in the worst case scenario situation. Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, that's a couple more catches for you. Obviously, going into this game, man, it's a big one. I think we really need it. This is an opportunity to start to seize early control of the division. Dallas Cowboys went out there, got mollywopped. Now, I'm not going to talk too crazy yet because I have a general rule that I follow. It's two things about me when it comes to football, at least when it comes to my Eagles. I'm one game at a time. That's my mood. And I'm also not passing too much judgment in week 1, 2, and 3. Because around week 4, week 5 is really when teams start to establish their identity. This is where the fraudulent and the contenders start to distinguish themselves. And we're not there yet, so that's why I'm not coming out with too much of the flamboyancy. I'm not going to sit up here and laugh at Dallas, even though I did enjoy watching it. We're not going to lie about that. But I'm not going to sit there and make fun of Dallas. This ain't the time. We go out there and stink it up. I'm going to look like a damn fool tomorrow. And I don't know what's going to happen because it's only week 2. I like the setting for us, though. I think at home we're going to show out, especially the first game. Atlanta coming off of a loss, I believe, to Pittsburgh, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Coming off a loss. So they're going to be hungry. They're going to really want this. Bijan Robinson, you got to worry about him. Kyle Pitts coming home. That's one to think about. He might want to stun out in front of his people. And shout out to Kyle Pitts. You know what I mean? Local kid, man, local product. I would not have mind getting him myself. I don't think we had the opportunity. I believe he went too early in the draft. But I ain't mad at Devontae, I always say. So, you got that. It's a good test for our defense because, especially if Atlanta elects to go with a heavy run, I don't know if that's what they're going to do, but they go with a heavy run. What I think works in our advantage, to our advantage, is I don't think the Atlanta Falcons have the greatest O-line in the league right now. So this is an opportunity for some of our young DNs to show what they can do, for Jalen Carter to have a big game, Jordan Davis to go out there and dominate. So that I'll be looking for. I absolutely want to see what Quinyon Mitchell look like in his second game. The young boy who I told you remind me of the GOAT Mike Haynes. Mike Haynes, that's what he reminds me of. I want to see if Cooper DeJean gets more minutes. Caitlin Clark's little buddy from Iowa. I want to see if he gets some minutes. And how he looks out there. From the tape, he looks like an athletic ball. I like Cooper. So I want to see what he look like. We throw him in the slot. Darius Slay, he going to do Darius Slay things. Either he going to be excellent or he might be disappointing. Darius Slay. But I expect him this early in the season. I expect him to perform at home. You know what I mean? All things considered. GJ gotta make a comeback or put in a better game this week. He wasn't horrible last week. He just made a couple of mistakes. And it's week 1. I don't really go in on these guys because preseason isn't what it used to be. Before, back in the day, there were 6 preseason games, then 4. Now we're down to 3. And even in those 3, your starters won't even play because they're so afraid of injuries these days. So some of this is preseason rust. That's why I wasn't going too crazy about last week. And I'm not going too crazy about certain teams now, though I will say that one team in New Orleans, they're looking a little scary. I'm not even going to lie. The Saints look a little scary. And I'm not even talking about their skilled players. I believe, and this is going into next week, I'm one game at a time, this is going to be part of what I break down for next week. I believe our skill position players match up well with their skill position players. Our secondary, I think, will match up with their receivers. I don't think their receivers are like that. Olave, I like him, but I don't think he like that. I think we'll match up. My concern is, can we penetrate that O-line? That O-line is what scares me about New Orleans right now. Forget the position players. Except for Kamara, I respect him. But that O-line is scaring me. I don't know yet. I'm still waiting. Is it that Derek Carr has so much time that is making the skilled players look that good? Or if those skilled players are like that, I got to go back and look at the film and just see. He had a ridiculous amount of time against Dallas. And I'm saying if Micah Parsons couldn't and D-Law couldn't get to him, I don't know, man, about Bryce Huff, Josh Sweat, and Nolan Smith. I don't know. And Jalix Hunt, if he gets any minutes, I don't know. You see what I mean? That's my concern with the Saints. But forget about the Saints. Tonight, we got the Atlanta Falcons. We got to go out there, and this is an opportunity to go 2-0. Start taking control of the division. Take the reins real quick early on. I think we will be the only 2-0 team in the division. Because Washington, they got mangled last week, and they won yesterday. And the young rookie, he looked pretty good in that game. I like his poise. And poise is what brings me to Jalen Hurts. See, this is what I've been listening to all day. And it's just sickening to me. It's just sickening. You got some people out here. Shout out to Mandel Sports, man. That's one of my favorite channels I go to. I recommend everybody subscribe to them. They got some good information. The debates are classic on there. Raw. I like it. I like Mandel Sports, right? But my man, the main host, he has a take about Jalen Hurts that I thought was crazy. I don't know. But I also give him a pass because it's like he kind of on the outside looking in. You know what I mean? Like when you're not in Philly, you kind of see things a little different. But he believes that the Philadelphia Eagles failed last season due in part to using the tush push. And his problem with the tush push is he believes that the Eagles are using the tush push in order to stat pad Jalen Hurts' stats. And that they were more concerned with Jalen Hurts winning MVP because he had lost it to Patrick Mahomes the previous year instead of trying to win. I'm like, huh? How you come up with that? But now there was a sister on there debating them. And she actually did a good job, to be honest with you. She knows all the talking points and all that. So I respected the way she debated him. And you could actually argue she may have actually won. But like him, since it's his show, he get the last word. You know what I mean? But this is what I would say. Respectfully though. Jalen Hurts didn't even have as bad a year as people think. In our opinion, I don't think so. He did throw too many interceptions. I give you that. But when anyone who understands what happened with the Eagles last year knows it was way bigger than just all of that. Now the tush push was being used for one reason and one reason alone. It had an air of unstoppability with it. That's the reason they're using the tush push. if it didn't work, it just wouldn't matter. Like, and we just wouldn't be using it. Jalen Hurts and like even he tried to make an argument that this began to cause some animosity with the receivers because the whole idea was Eagles are just trying to stat pad Jalen Hurts, right? This is the first problem. There's a couple of problems with this. The first problem with it is the stat padding thing. That's just from out of nowhere. Now let's see if the intention was to stat pad for Jalen Hurts, I think the Eagles would more likely would target let's get his passing touchdowns up. They wouldn't try to stat pad the rushing touchdowns because it's the passing touchdowns that'll really be eye popping to those who select MVPs. So they would just take 1 yard touchdown passes. They'd draw up a whole bunch of 1 yard touchdown passes because that's what I think most quarterbacks in the NFL do anyway. That was the difference between Jalen Hurts in 2022 and most other quarterbacks. Most other quarterbacks are throwing 5 yard touchdown passes, 1 yard touchdown passes, 2 yard touchdown passes. Whether it's Burrow, whether it's Mahomes, all of them are doing that. Jalen Hurts can run it in, right? So the only people he competing with is like say a Lamar, stuff like that. Lamar wasn't even in the running that year. But besides that, no, the Eagles ain't doing that. The tush push had like a 92% success rate. So it would be stupid to not do it. It worked damn near all the time. So that's why the Eagles were doing that in 2022 regularly. It became a staple of the offense. So in 2023, it still had the air of unstoppability with it. That's why they're using it. It's not to stat pad for Jalen Hurts, keeping touchdowns away from A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith were not worried about stats. They were both 2,000. They both had 2,000 yards. They both had 1,000 yards apiece. Both had close to 100 touches. They 100 catches. So that wouldn't be an issue. Now, when the offense isn't working, of course, everybody starts getting mad because these guys feel like they can do stuff and all of that. But that's about it. It wasn't all this deep-seated stuff. Like I think the brother, might been listening to some of the propaganda that's out there. You know what I mean? That stuff wasn't even that deep. As far as what actually did happen, it was just Nick Sirianni wouldn't allow the then offensive coordinator Brian Johnson to do his job. He kept stepping in, wanting to do this, wanting to do that, interject this. He was afraid to try new stuff and all of that. Hurts and Brian Johnson together wanted to expand the offense. They felt they needed to for 2023 to be better than 2022. You come with the same offense, teams adjust. Nick Sirianni, he just is kind of scary. He just wanted to keep doing 2022 stuff. So the offense was stale. People figured it out. 49ers, such and such, put out the blueprint to stop it. And then it was just a downhill thing. See, this is really what happened. And it's important y'all understand it from the standpoint of like a Philly fan. We see it differently. You know what I mean? Because we're constantly dealing with the team. We're reading up on them in the offseason. We got dibs on everything. So I understand that. If you're not from Philly, it's going to be hard to debate Eagles, with somebody. Or if you're not in Philly or whatever, or follow the team closely. Whatever. Y'all get me. All right, so there's that. And then, I don't know, I've heard all types of stuff. Jalen Hurts ain't this, Jalen Hurts ain't that. I get it. Like, Jalen Hurts doesn't fit the mold that a lot of people have out there for a great quarterback. For like this great transitional, whatever quarterback. People look at it all different. I just look at it different than most people. Most people look at what they call arm talent. They just watching you throw sidearms. Oh my goodness, this dude was falling down. He tripped over five players and then he hit a sidearm and it zipped through 3 defenders and hit the ball. Like they look at stuff like that. That's why people like Carson Wentz, because he have a flash play. That's a broken play here and there, And I get it. They also look at size. And if a dude is 6'4", and stuff like that, his arms real long and all that, you can see over the defense, all that type of stuff. And then, or they look at like, if a dude is really ridiculous athlete, like Lamar. So a lot of people overrate Lamar because of how athletic he is. You know what I'm saying? So, and I like Lamar, but like, come on, man. He 2 MVPs and all that. It's like, come on, bro. Now, his teams do be winning and stuff like that. I get it. But the MVPs is cool. It's just that, like, you got to start holding him accountable for some of his playoff failures. You just do. He like even that last game, I ain't understand why he doesn't run for the touchdown at the end and he passing it to bombs. It's just little stuff like that that are like brain farts that everybody experienced, but it's like, I heard one thing like Jalen Hurts not even on Lamar level or something like that. And I get it. I understand people looking at Lamar run real fast and stuff like that. All right. Now, me personally, what I identified as being like the demarcator between the type of quarterback I want, the best quarterbacks, and everybody else is one thing. It's mental toughness. It's focus. It's a guy who can't be broken or shattered mentally. It's a guy that literally is in a state of zen. If you understand what that is, in the spiritual world, you understand zen. You're so focused on a particular goal or on a particular point. It's something you can learn in meditation. You focus so much on it, nothing can break you. I think the best of the best quarterbacks have that quality. Like, you even look at Tom Brady, they say he practiced Zen and stuff like that. Phil Jackson used to teach Zen and stuff to like Jordan and Pippen and all that to get his team focused on the goal. Like, that's one thing that the great of the greats have over everybody else, and that's their mental toughness. The thing I like about Jalen Hurts is I think he's mentally tough, and I think he can tap into that kind of stuff. Eagles fans, we know what that is. Nick Foles had that. He would only have it in moments and spurts, but like Nick Foles was not going to lose the Super Bowl 2017. We all know that. He just did not care. He just stepped into something that just was, it was like, yo, this dude not going to be stopped. And I think Hurts showed me that. Hurts showed me in the biggest moment and the best time against the best team that he could do that. The moment Jalen Hurts won me over, and this is just it, I'm going to just ride with this dude till it's over because I think he has that quality that matters. I don't care about his size, how fast he run, all that. Like, when you're at the NFL, everybody pretty much talent-wise is almost the same, meaning you can make all the throws. Now, everybody don't make reads as quick. Everybody timing ain't the same. I get all that stuff, but you can make all the throws. Timing and all that stuff, that comes with how long you work in the offense, how long you work with certain receivers. It's a lot of stuff to go with that, right? But I think Jalen Hurts is a dude that is mentally tough enough to deal with all the stuff, whether he got a new offensive coordinator, whether he got a new offense. I just think he's mentally tougher than a dude like Lamar, in my opinion. Is he subject to brain freezes and all that? Yeah, that can happen. He looked real bad against Tampa Bay because the Eagles did not install a mechanism to deal with the blitz. Just a quarterback himself can't be responsible for dealing with the blitz. That whole line, the receivers, everybody got to play a part of that. So they never even put it on him to call the blitz protections before, which is retarded because Jalen Hurts been studying that stuff since he's in college and all that. It ain't like it ain't something he don't know how to do. He's been studying that stuff. But it was never put in the offense for Jalen Hurts to even handle it. They had Jason Kelce doing it because Jason Kelce was doing it for Carson Wentz, and he'd been doing it for a while. So they just had him continue that. All right, you'll handle the blitz protections, and Jalen Hurts was young, and they wanted him to focus on getting the offense down more than worrying about blitz. It's stupid, but this is what they did. They should have at least addressed it in 2023, something like that. But this is the first year where Jalen Hurts will be able to he going to call all the blitz protections. And he did an excellent job in week 1 against the Packers, who actually do like the blitz. So that's going to be a difference. As far as him throwing the interceptions, I mean, I get it. You don't want to do that. But at the same time, it's like, that's not his profile. That's not his profile. And then, too, people who looked at the film, you see that little stuff like A.J. Brown slipped and all that. It was a bad field. It was a lot that went into those things. And we know that, but we good. But the point is, Jalen Hurts got to come out tonight. He need to put again another great game. Last game was a mixed bag for me. I think people overrating how bad it was. Then they look at interceptions and they just try to negate everything else. No, you won the game. When we needed that game to be put away, Jalen Hurts was able to engineer a 4-minute drive that ran the clock down. Those are the things I look at. You know what I mean? So I'm good. But yeah, we got Atlanta coming up, man. So I got us winning this game. Let's say we're gonna put up about 27. It's gonna be 27-17. We're gonna take this. All right. Peace out.